Hey Hotties, how you healing? How you feeling? I'm Zenzi, and this is Hotties Heal. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about my own healing journey, and hopefully it can help someone else who may be on a similar path or trying to start this path. But before I really get into it, I just want to say that if you're feeling sensitive and not ready to really hear the truth about some of what this journey means, I advise you to click off, because I may be talking about things that could be a little bit triggering for some people if you're in a more fragile state, and that is never my intention. So I personally, in this moment in time, am going through a little bit of a hard time. And I really wanted to push myself, and actually it's not even really a push. I do feel called to sit down and share, because I want to practice what I preach, and I want people to know that even the teachers and preachers are not exempt from learning their own lessons. Something that someone told me recently was, everyone is perfect and nobody is perfect. And what I took from that is we are all created perfectly as we are, as the person or people we are meant to be. But we're also flawed humans. We came here to learn things and to grow and evolve. Whether people actively decide to do that in this lifetime is going to be completely up to them. But I'm someone who consciously has chosen to be on this journey, and once you start, there's really no getting off. Because if you try to stop your growth, it only becomes harder for you. A little bit about me is that I went through my first dark night of the soul when I was 18 years old. I wasn't aware that this is what I was going through, because for those of you who don't know what a dark night of the soul is, it is basically, can be described as like severe depression and a shattering of your reality. And I had went away to college. It was just not the college that was meant for me, and it forced me to see the ways that I was trying to put myself in a box that I didn't belong in. But I didn't actively decide to go on my own healing journey until 2019. I've always been a spiritual person who has been drawn to metaphysical things and divination, and I believe in magic, and I'm not just talking the witchy witch stuff like the woo-woo. I just believe that the world is full of magic, even though the witchy woo is a part of that. Magic exists all around us. But regardless of that, since I've started my healing journey, I've grown a lot, but I've also felt a lot of pain, and I'm back in a period of pain. And what I want to say about why I think I'm here is because life moves in cycles, and oftentimes is presenting us the opportunity to evolve and ascend. But we also only are given what we can take. So when a test arises, and a test is usually something that triggers a deep-seated trauma in us, how we react, what we choose to do, will then be shown to the universe, and that's the way that both the universe, God, source, whatever you believe in, and yourself will know and believe that you're ready to move on to the next level. And the healing journey is not linear. They say that for a reason. As we grow and evolve, there will still be things that trigger us. It's just about how we choose to react to them as we mature and grow in our journey. But I know that I'm in the place that I'm in because, number one, I don't think that what I'm currently moving through I would have been able to handle a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, because I just wasn't ready. Things have to come in increments so that every time you face it, you get stronger. And I'm on the precipice of healing a very deep-seated father wound and just a lot of generational trauma in general. I've been working hand in hand with my mom to better ourselves, and both independently and together, and it's been such a blessing and a gift. And even though I haven't had that same opportunity with my dad, it's still a blessing and it's a gift, because through the trauma and all the experiences, I have subconsciously put myself in experiences to show me where I need to heal and where I can do better. And I recently got a little tidbit of information that sort of threw me back into the throes of all those feelings of rejection, abandonment, unworthiness that I had thought that I was healing, but subconsciously knew that there were still things that I was holding on to that were keeping me in this place of stagnation. But as I said, I'm not a perfect person, and polarity exists in life, and it can be true that I've done a lot of growing and healing, and that I love myself, and that I see the beauty in the world, and I still have blockages. So if you're someone who's on a healing journey and you're in a darker period right now, there's something that I care to mention, which is happiness moves in waves. You'll find that wave again. And partially why I think I'm back here is because I would feel the pain, then I would start to intellectualize it, and then I would decide that I was over it. And you're not able to truly heal and move past things unless you really sit with it, face it, surrender to it, and then you can let it go. And I've been stuck teetering between sitting, facing, and then I don't get to the surrender part, because it's actually extremely painful to allow those pieces of your reality to fall away. When the smoke screen is lifted, sometimes you hyperventilate from the smoke, and you don't always want to look behind the curtain. I know that I just wasn't ready, but I also realized that the ways that I want to advance and move forward in life are not able to happen unless I allow myself to really sit with this and move past this. Part of that is acknowledging all the ways that I've been hurt by others, by myself, all that shame and guilt and fear and abandonment and embarrassment and just overall neglect that I have subjected myself to due to trauma. And you know, it's not my fault. It's not your fault that you experience those things, that I experience those things. It's just life, and life isn't cruel, because sometimes you gotta be cruel to be kind. And life is just offering us an opportunity to move beyond the limitations that we've imposed on ourselves. It's painful, trust me. I feel it in my stomach, and I've been crying on and off for the last 24 hours, and part of me is a little scared that I won't get out of it. And a reason I've been afraid to go deeper is because I've been in a place, my dog's snoring, I've been in a place of deep darkness, and I have trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning. I have attempted to not experience life anymore on more than one occasion because I was so stuck in the darkness and I didn't see a way out. But that was years ago, and I'm still here, and despite all the pain, I've done my best to keep my heart open and soft and be compassionate to the world, but I realize that I need to be compassionate to myself. And I guess my message here is, don't forget to show yourself compassion during these times where you have to feel the pain. Feel it, but love yourself the way that you would love and support someone who was going through this, or the way that you want someone to love and support you. You have to give that to yourself, because if you can't, then you will not advance. You will not move past the hurt, and you will stay stuck in it, and it will become the pain that you tolerate. And I just talked about this in my last video, but it's just the truth. If you want to stay where you are and you're comfortable and you're fine, then that's fine. You're allowed to be comfortable. But if you wish to move beyond the confines of what you've currently set for yourself, you have to sit with it. You have to face it. You have to allow yourself to be uncomfortable. And then you have to love yourself regardless. And you have to separate yourself from your thoughts. You have to acknowledge that those are the things that you're thinking. Say, oh, this is here again. Feel the emotion that it brings up and it provokes, and then let it go. And you might have to do that multiple times a day, for weeks, for months, however long it's going to take you. And one thing that I've been thinking of a lot is something that I read some time ago, and it said, it's so hard and painful to heal when your inner child just wants love, your teenage self wants revenge, and your adult self wants peace. And looking back at every situation that led me to this point is really so reflective of the fact that those past parts of me, my inner child who just wanted to be loved and cared for and told that they were worthy, and my teenage self, which came mostly from a place of ego, all are still a part of me, and all still played a role in why I'm experiencing what I'm experiencing today. And you can't have peace unless you acknowledge the pain and the fear and the hurt that those two other versions of yourself and all past versions of yourself are feeling. You have to connect with them and remind them that they're safe and they're okay and they're loved. I don't know why it's so hard, and I don't know why it's so scary, because I've had times of being on the other side, but it's something that you just have to do multiple times, and don't be afraid to feel it. I've been reflecting on the past year because I started Hotties Heal about a year ago, and the amount of growth that I've experienced, even though in some ways it feels like I'm back to square one. As I said, healing is not linear, and there's a plethora of knowledge and wisdom that I have gained and experienced over this last year, so that I have the tools now to move beyond this and finally allow myself to just be in this moment, as uncomfortable as it is, so that I can progress forward. And I'm not saying that life is going to be without challenge and pain, but I am saying that as we open ourselves up to allowing ourselves to feel these things, it's so much easier to move through it. And if you yourself can think back to a time where you felt so much pain and hurt and where you are now. I hope that gives you a little bit of strength. And that's honestly all I have for today. If you're new and you resonated with this and you feel connected to this journey and to me, I would love for you to join me more. It's not always going to be this heavy, and I just want you to know that you're worthy and you're special and you're going to get through this. And if you're not in this point yet, don't have fear. It's okay to have fear, but the best way to get over it is to face it. So that's it for today. Love you guys. Bye.